What makes a piece of music unforgettable? Is it the melody that haunts you? The harmony that tugs at something deep inside? Or is it the silence between the notes? The spaces that leave room for imagination to fill in the gaps? That question was on my mind the day I stumbled upon the symphony that changed everything. It was a rainy afternoon, one of those dreary, endless ones that seem to seep into your soul. I was at a small, dusty bookstore on the corner of an unremarkable street, hiding from the drizzle and the chill. The shopkeeper, an old man with glasses perched precariously on his nose, seemed to be asleep behind the counter. The place smelled of old paper and forgotten stories, my kind of heaven. I'd been searching for inspiration, something to break the relentless writer's block that had plagued me for months. My compositions had been lifeless, empty echoes of what I knew I was capable of creating. I ran my fingers along the spines of books, some cracked and worn, others surprisingly new. That's when I saw it. A thin, leather-bound manuscript with no title, tucked between a collection of sonatas. I pulled it out and opened it gently. Inside, I found sheet music, an incomplete symphony, its notes scrawled with a kind of desperate elegance. The music was breathtaking, a complex web of harmonies that seemed to speak directly to my heart. Yet, it was unfinished. It ended abruptly, as if the composer had been interrupted mid-thought. I couldn't shake it. The melody looped in my mind like a whisper, couldn't quite catch. I bought the manuscript for a few dollars, almost embarrassed at the price. It felt like I was robbing a grave, stealing something priceless. I rushed home, ignoring the rain that now poured in earnest. Once inside, I spread the pages across my piano and began to play. My fingers moved of their own accord, tracing the notes like they had been waiting for this moment. The music was mesmerizing, beautiful, tragic, and above all, mysterious. The more I played, the more I could feel the anguish and longing that had poured into every note. But I needed to know more. Who had written this? Why was it unfinished? The name at the bottom of the first page was illegible, faded with time, but the date was clear: 1765. I spent days researching, digging through archives, libraries, and any resource I could find. The melody echoed in my dreams. It began to consume me. Finally, I stumbled across a mention of a composer from that era who had mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind no known works except for a few mentions in letters and diaries. The more I read, the more I was certain this was his symphony. His name was Johann Karl Drexler, a rising star in Vienna's musical scene, who had vanished one night without a trace. No one knew what happened to him. Some said he ran away, others that he passed away of an illness, or was the victim of foul play. But the music I had found, it felt too alive, too urgent, to belong to a man resigned to his fate. That's when I heard about the device. It was a secret whispered in corners, dismissed as a joke among the scientific community. A time travel machine, recently invented by a genius scientist who preferred to remain anonymous. Few believed it actually worked, but I was desperate enough to try anything. It took some persuasion and a fair amount of money to convince the scientist to let me use it. I remember standing in a dimly lit laboratory, surrounded by humming machines and blinking lights, holding the manuscript close to my chest like a lifeline. The scientist adjusted some dials and muttered something about paradoxes, but I barely heard him. I was already imagining Vienna in 1765, the cobblestone streets, the candlelit salons, the music that filled every corner of the city. "Are you sure?" he asked one last time, his eyes shadowed with worry. "Yes," I replied, feeling a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. "I have to know." The next thing I knew, I was there. Vienna. The air was crisp, the scent of freshly baked bread and horse manure mixing unpleasantly. I felt out of place, my modern clothes attracting stares. But I didn't care. I had a mission. It took days to find him. I haunted the music halls, the cafes, listening for any mention of Drexler. Finally, I found him in a small, dimly lit tavern, sitting at a corner table, his fingers tapping a silent rhythm on the wood. He looked exactly as I had imagined, intense, with deep-set eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and a mind that never stopped. I approached him cautiously, my heart pounding. "Herr Drexler?" I asked in halting German. He looked up, startled. "Who are you?" I swallowed, trying to find the right words. I'm a fellow composer. I've been studying your work. His eyes narrowed. My work? No one has seen my work. I haven't finished it. That's why I'm here, I said, showing him the manuscript. I found this. Your Unfinished Symphony. He stared at the pages, his expression shifting from shock to anger. Where did you get this? It was lost, I stammered. I came to help you finish it. For a moment, he looked at me as if I were mad. Then, slowly, his gaze softened, and he gestured for me to sit. You know the music? I've played it, I replied. It's incredible. But why did you stop? He sighed, a deep, weary sound. Because I couldn't find the end. The right ending. It eludes me. I've been trying for months, and now, I don't know if I ever will. I felt a shiver run through me. Maybe we can find it together, I suggested. He nodded, and for days, we worked side by side. I felt as if I were in a dream living history, collaborating with a genius. The music flowed, notes danced from our pens, and for a while, it seemed like we were making progress. But then, things began to change. Johann grew more restless, more agitated. He would disappear for hours, muttering about strange visions and voices. He became convinced someone was following him, and one night, he vanished. I searched everywhere, asked everyone, but it was as if he had been erased from existence. I felt a growing dread, a horrible realization that I couldn't shake. I had come back to solve a mystery, to help a man find his music, but in doing so, I had caused his disappearance. Was it my presence, my interference that had shattered his fragile world? Had I become the ghost that haunted him? With a heavy heart, I returned to the scientist's lab, my mission a failure. As the machine whirred to life, I thought I heard the faintest strains of a melody, Johann's Unfinished Symphony, echoing through time, forever incomplete. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.